It is looking like the title of president will belong to Egypt's Abdel Fattah el-Sisi even longer than we thought. In the past couple of hours, a committee of the Egyptian parliament has approved an initial proposal to extend the president's term. Now, the details are like this. For it to take effect, it would need to pass a vote in parliament within 4 months. But if it does pass, then Sisi's term would extend beyond its current limit of 2022. So we're going to talk to Dalia Fahmy about this, who's an associate professor of political science at Long Island University. She's on Skype from New Jersey with us. Now, hi, Dalia. One part of me sort of thinks, well, this is not a huge surprise that this sort of thing is, well, even in the works. But the fact that it is, it just cements Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and shows that Egypt has actually not really gone far in the past 8 years.
You're right. It's not a surprise at all. Remember, this is a president that came into power through a coup following one of the bloodiest massacres in Egypt's history. He has systematically consolidated power around himself, virtually decapitating the judiciary. The security services have really purchased most of the media outlets. There is no independent journalism in Egypt. And what we're seeing right now is that the parliament has become a rubber stamp on his authority. And so it's not a surprise that he would be extending term limits or that there would be an extension of his term, but that the only question was when it was going to happen. And so now we have this proposal that was already approved by the 1/5 of the parliament, which is all it needed. And so we have this proposal that will go to some sort of vote in the coming months, in the summertime probably. And all it needs is 2/3 approval, and that they've already secured according to many parliamentarians. And so this will pass. And so the terms will go from 4 to 6 years, and virtually meaning that there will be some kind of special accommodation made for President Sisi so that he remains president until 2034. Ironically enough, in 2034, he will be 80 years old, very similar to the age that Mubarak was when he was removed from office, the 8th anniversary of which is just next week. And so we're having this display of a show of extreme executive power coming upon this moment when 8 years ago, Egyptians were actually celebrating change. And so what we're seeing today is not only has Egypt regressed to pre-revolutionary moments, but it's actually consolidating through this constitutional amendment, if it indeed goes through a referendum and voted in the summer, that we are way worse than we were under Mubarak.
So we're talking about the power of the man himself, the power of the office, the power of the parliament, which, as you say, is essentially rubber stamping what he does. Tell me about the popularity, because I don't want to just dismiss the fact that this is all happening at his behest. He does have support, doesn't he?
Well, so there's two kinds of ways that support is measured: within the political establishment and also popular support. There are no real polls to measure popularity of President Sisi, like, for example, there is here in the United States measuring President Trump's popularity or lack thereof. And so we don't really know the levels of popularity that he actually enjoys. What we do know is that the Egyptian economy has actually hurt the average Egyptian, that there is a shrinking middle class, that because of a lot of the poor economic planning through his reforms, the cost of goods has gone up so high that the extreme poverty that Egypt used to face in the rural areas, for example, now touches upwards of 60% of the population. So it's not clear that he's popular insofar as he's providing. What there is a return to a fear nexus where people will prefer this so-called stability of a heavy-handed leader rather than uncertainty of a next moment of change. Do we have accurate measures for this? No, we don't. But historically, we do know that people become fearful of extreme moments of change. So it's not clear that they dislike this. What is clear is that they will accept this. And this is what has been happening for the past 2 years in Egyptian politics as a whole. You have to remember just this time last year, when President Sisi was running for office, he was running virtually uncontested because he had eliminated all opposition. And we didn't see protests in the street at that moment, even during the revolutionary anniversary, because there is no alternative at this moment.
Dalia Fahmy, well explained, and we thank you for your thoughts and expertise on this topic. Thank you.